In the wide, wind-swept fields of Nebraska, Laura Wilson built a life rooted in soil, tradition, and quiet determination. She became known to millions through videos that captured the daily rhythm of farm life. Yet her story stretches far beyond tractors and harvest updates. Behind the steady hum of machinery and the glow of golden sunsets lies a journey shaped by family legacy, personal loss, and relentless resilience. Laura's rise as a modern agricultural voice did not shield her from heartbreak. Instead, it revealed how grief, pressure, and responsibility can shape a person's strength. This is a story of love for the land, loss during harvest, and healing through purpose, one that shows how the hardest seasons can deepen a person's roots rather than break them. A childhood shaped by the land. Laura's connection to farming began long before social media entered her life. Raised on her family's Nebraska farm, she grew up surrounded by endless rows of corn and soybeans, the scent of soil, and the rhythm of changing seasons. Farming wasn't simply her family's occupation, it was their identity. As a child, she learned by observing, watching machinery roll across fields and listening to conversations about rainfall and crop rotation. The land was both playground and classroom. Those early years quietly shaped her understanding of responsibility, patience, and respect for nature's timing. She learned that the farm didn't belong to anyone in a single moment. It belonged to generations of hands that worked the ground and the weather that shaped the yield. A grandfather who taught her more than farming. At the heart of Laura's childhood stood her grandfather, a steady presence whose wisdom anchored the farm. He taught her more than mechanics and planting schedules. He taught her stewardship. Walking fields beside him, she absorbed lessons about soil health, timing, and perseverance. He explained how each generation inherits both opportunity and obligation. Through simple tasks, latching gates properly, handling grain carefully, observing weather patterns, he instilled pride in honest work. To Laura, he was more than family. He was a mentor who treated her as capable long before she fully believed it herself. His quiet strength became a guiding force, a reminder that success wasn't measured by speed or glamour, but by consistency and care. Carrying a fifth-generation legacy, being a fifth-generation farmer, carries a quiet, constant pressure. For Laura, the land was not just acreage, it was history written in rows of crops and weathered barns. Each field symbolized sacrifices made by ancestors who built the operation from scratch. With that legacy came responsibility. A poor season would not only hurt profits, it would feel like letting down those who came before her. This emotional weight followed her into adulthood. She understood that farming was more than personal ambition. It was a promise to protect, sustain, and improve what had been entrusted to her care. The family farm wasn't just her workplace. It was a living record of resilience, and she felt the duty to honor it through every decision and every season. A partnership built on shared values. Laura's journey intertwined with Grant, her husband, whose upbringing mirrored her own. He understood the unpredictability of farming and the long hours it demanded. Their relationship grew not from romanticized notions of country life, but from shared respect for hard work and resilience. Together, they balanced equipment breakdowns, shifting weather forecasts, and financial risks. Their bond strengthened through collaboration in the fields, side by side during planting and harvest. They were not simply partners in marriage, but partners in legacy, working to build a future grounded in shared values and mutual support. Their love was rooted in practicality, but it was also deeply emotional, built through sweat, shared responsibility, and the quiet joy of working toward something bigger than themselves. Harvest season and the shock of sudden loss. Harvest season carries urgency. Days stretch long, sleep becomes scarce, and every hour of daylight matters. It was during one such demanding season that Laura received devastating news. Her grandfather had passed away. The timing felt cruel. The crops still needed harvesting. Machinery still demanded attention. The world did not pause for grief. Inside, her heart felt heavy, yet outwardly the routine continued. Climbing into tractors and driving across familiar fields became bittersweet reminders of the man who once guided her there. Harvest transformed from celebration into a quiet tribute. The work became a way to stay connected to him, each turn of the wheel echoing lessons he'd taught her, lessons that now carried the weight of memory, shared grief, shared strength. As Laura navigated her loss, Grant faced his own. Around the same time, he lost his grandfather as well. Two young farmers, newly married and building their lives, found themselves grieving simultaneously. Their sorrow ran parallel, each carrying memories of men who shaped their values and work ethic. Though the fields required attention, grief lingered in silent moments, during long drives home or pauses between tasks. Yet, in that shared pain, they found understanding. Their mutual loss created a deeper bond, strengthening their partnership during one of the most emotionally demanding seasons of their lives. In the quiet spaces between chores, they became each other's support system, proving that love can grow even through heartbreak. Unexpected fame from simple authenticity. Laura never intended to become a public figure. Her early videos were casual glimpses of farm life meant for friends. But authenticity resonates. Viewers were drawn to her straightforward explanations and unpolished reality. In a digital space often dominated by curated perfection, her dusty boots and honest commentary felt refreshing. Her audience grew from thousands to hundreds of thousands, eventually reaching millions across platforms. She became a recognizable voice for modern agriculture, bridging the gap between rural fields and urban curiosity. Fame arrived not through strategy, but through consistency and sincerity, and she learned that influence could be a responsibility as much as a reward. Criticism in a field. Still dominated by men, visibility brought admiration, but also criticism. Farming remains heavily male-dominated, and some questioned her skills simply because of her age and gender. Strangers dismissed her knowledge or accused her of seeking attention. Harsh comments appeared beneath videos, challenging her competence. Proving herself became a daily necessity, both online and offline. Each mistake felt magnified under public scrutiny. Yet Laura refused to shrink. She leaned into learning, improving her skills with machinery and management. Rather than allowing criticism to define her, she used it as motivation to deepen her expertise. Over time, she earned respect through action, showing that skill is built through experience and persistence. The hidden weight of responsibility. Behind every video stood real financial risk. Farming demands significant investment: land rent, fuel, maintenance, seed, and insurance. Each planting decision carries uncertainty tied to weather and market prices. Laura balanced these pressures while also managing content creation, sponsorships, and audience engagement. Her days often began before sunrise and stretched late into the evening. The combination of physical labor and digital presence created a workload few understood. While followers saw minutes of footage, they rarely saw the hours of editing and planning layered onto already demanding farm operations. The responsibility wasn't just to the land. It was to the future, to the family legacy, and to the community watching her. Healing through the rhythm of the land. Over time, the land itself became a source of healing. Fields do not rush grief. They ask only for effort and patience. Laura found grounding in routine, the crunch of gravel beneath boots, the rhythm of planting rows, the scent of fresh soil. Each sunrise offered a small reset. Though sorrow lingered, it softened. She began to understand that resilience does not erase loss. It reshapes it. Working the same ground her grandfather once walked felt like carrying his lessons forward. Memory shifted from sharp pain to steady presence, woven into daily work. The farm became a living tribute, proof that love can continue through action, even when the people who taught us are gone. Growth in skill and confidence. As seasons passed, Laura's confidence deepened. She took greater ownership in planning, equipment decisions, and workflow management. Experience replaced uncertainty. Mistakes became teachers rather than proof of inadequacy. Her leadership matured, earning respect through action rather than demand. She balanced tradition with innovation, honoring her family's methods while adapting to modern agricultural practices. Each harvest strengthened her understanding that resilience is built gradually. Her grandfather's words, "You don't have to know everything, you just have to keep learning," echoed in moments of doubt, guiding her forward. A marriage strengthened by shared trials. Grief could have distanced Laura and Grant, yet it drew them closer. They learned to sit together in silence when words felt insufficient. They shared stories of their grandfathers, preserving memories through conversation. Their marriage proved rooted not only in love, but in shared endurance. Facing loss simultaneously deepened their empathy for one another. Farming already required teamwork. Heartbreak reinforced it. Together, they built a partnership resilient enough to withstand uncertainty, weather, markets, and emotional storms alike. Their shared trials became the foundation for a stronger bond, one built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Purpose beyond pain. Laura's story ultimately transcends sorrow. Heartbreak shaped her, but it did not define her. She transformed grief into fuel for growth, dedication, and authenticity. Her platform became more than entertainment. It became education and connection. Viewers saw not just crops, but courage. She demonstrated that strength can coexist with vulnerability, and that leadership can emerge quietly through consistency. Each season, she continued honoring her heritage while carving her own path. Legacy remained important, but so did innovation and self-belief. Through her journey, she showed that purpose can rise from pain, and that the work we love can help us heal. Roots that run deep. In the end, Laura Wilson's journey is not solely about farming or social media fame. It is about resilience grounded in love for family and land. She faced loss during the busiest season of her life and continued forward, carrying grief with grace. She navigated criticism, responsibility, and public visibility without abandoning authenticity. Through sunrise after sunrise, she practiced resilience until it became part of her character. The fields her grandfathers once walked still stretch wide beneath Nebraska skies, and in every row she plants, their legacy lives on, steady, enduring, and proud.